You are born into it. It is the first heartbeat, the first breath, the first tick. It dictates when you wake, when you eat, who you become. We are surrounded by its walls, yet we cannot touch them. It is the invisible prison that humanity has spent 5,000 years trying to map and conquer. From the shadows of Giza to the pulse of an atomic clock, this is the story of how we built the master we all obey. Welcome to Behind the Norm. Don't just look at the clock. Look closer. Before the roar of machines and the digital pulse of the modern era, time was a whisper in the wind. To our ancestors, time was not a series of numbers, but a series of rhythms. They lived within the breath of the seasons, the migration of the herds, the blooming of the flora, and the lengthening of shadows. In the silence of the Neolithic world, humanity looked upward. They didn't see a void, they saw a clock. Stonehenge, Newgrange, and Göbekli Tepe were not just monuments of stone, they were hard drives of celestial data. These architects of the silence aligned massive monoliths with the solstices, capturing the exact moment the sun stood still. To them, time was circular. Everything that happened had happened before and would happen again. There was no running out of time, only the eternal return of the light. But as tribes settled into empires, this spiritual circle began to straighten into a line. The hunt was over, the harvest had begun. And with the harvest, came the need for precision. The greatest revolution in human history didn't happen with a wheel, but with a number. In the scorched sands of Mesopotamia, the Sumerians looked at their hands and changed the world forever. By using the thumb to count the 12 joints of the fingers, they bypassed the decimal system and birthed the duodecimal, the base 12 logic. Why 12? Because it was the language of the universe. 12 lunar cycles in a year, 12 constellations in the zodiac. This was the birth of the 60-minute hour and the 24-hour day. In Egypt, time became a weapon of the pharaohs. They divided the day into 10 hours of sunlight, with 2 extra hours for twilight, and 12 hours of darkness marked by the Decans, the star groups that rose like ghosts in the night sky. They invented the Merkit, the world's first chronometer, to track these stars. For the first time, time was no longer a feeling, it was a grid. A geometry of the gods. Yet, the earth remained stubborn. The 365-day journey around the sun didn't fit perfectly into their math. This celestial gap led to the first calendars, the first errors, and the first human attempts to fix the universe's clock. For millennia, time flowed like water or fell like sand. But in the 14th century, time began to tick. The invention of the mechanical escapement changed the human psyche more than any king ever could. In the high towers of European cathedrals, massive iron weights began to fall, regulated by rhythmic pulses. Time was no longer owned by the sun, it was owned by the church, and later, the merchant. These towers broadcasted a new reality: time is a commodity. It can be measured even when the sun is hidden by clouds. It can be sold. During the Industrial Revolution, the pocket watch became the new shackle. Workers no longer followed the rhythm of their bodies, they followed the rhythm of the gear. We shifted from living in time to being on time. This was the era of synchronization. Trains needed schedules, factories needed shifts, and empires needed a single, global, Greenwich time. We had successfully trapped the invisible river inside a box of brass and steel. In the 20th century, the clock we built shattered. Albert Einstein looked at a clock tower in Bern and realized the unthinkable: time is not a constant. It is a fabric, elastic, bendable, and tied to gravity. The faster you move, the slower time crawls. Your head is literally older than your feet. Today, we no longer rely on the rotation of the Earth, which is too wobbly for our digital world. We rely on the heartbeat of an atom. Atomic clocks, measuring the vibrations of cesium, are so precise they won't lose a second in 300 million years. But this precision has brought us to a strange precipice. In the realm of quantum physics, now doesn't exist. Past, present, and future may be nothing more than a stubborn illusion. We started by watching shadows on a cave wall, and we ended by measuring the pulse of the vacuum. We have mapped the invisible prison so perfectly that we have realized the walls might not even be there. We are the architects of time, but in the end, we are also its most profound mystery. What will time look like when there is no one left to measure it? So, what is time? It is a river that carries us, a canvas where we paint our lives. We learn to measure it with perfect precision, yet we can never hold it. As we look toward the future, the goal remains the same: to understand our place in the tick of eternity. The river hasn't changed. We have. Thank you for joining us. This is Behind the Norm. We'll see you in the next tick.